Shane calls himself an empath. He's not an empath. He's a kiss ass. The sooner everybody else stops buying this bullshit, I'm an empath, the better all of YouTube will be, because we can discard this man finally. Once upon a time, it was just under a year ago, when I first learned who Destery Smith was, or Captain Des, some of you may know of him as. Warning, this topic is very difficult because this man is allegedly a disgusting kind of criminal, allegedly. So if you don't want to hear about a disgusting kind of criminal, allegedly, this isn't the video for you. This is no longer the stream for you. I would recommend escort yourself out, take a mental health break, that's okay. Treasure your mental health, protect it, off you go. For the rest of us, we have to talk about an alleged disgusting criminal. Everything that I'm about to say is an allegation. It's my opinion. It's me talking about what I believe is true. I'm echoing the voices of alleged victims with the allegations that they are alleging. We're going to talk about Destery Smith. As I mentioned, I first became aware of Destery Smith about 11 months ago, in October of last year, just before my weight loss surgery. At the time, Shane Dawson had just made his big comeback. He was building up the Shane 2 podcast channel, food testing blog, whatever it is. It's kind of hard to tell exactly how to classify this level of art. And why don't we just take a quick scroll through this channel real quick. Here, let me make myself a little smaller so it's easier to see. What kind of audience would you think would be attracted to these types of thumbnails? Ones with perhaps JoJo Siwa in them. What type of audience? Who's going to click on these thumbnails? Looks like a kids channel. Kids? Looks like kids? Psychedelics? It's children! Scream like a Dora the Explorer child. All right, great. So since we're all on the same page with that, let's just keep that in mind as we move forward. Back in October of 2022, I noticed some videos being made about a community post that Shane Dawson made on this channel, this Shane 2 channel. It says, Shane 2 channel, big announcement. Starting in 2023, this podcast will be weekly. Thank you at Captain Des for editing today's podcast. I'm so grateful we met back in 2008, and I'm so excited to work with you and your company, Triangle Face Productions, in 2023. Hope you guys are enjoying the new episode. I'm so excited I might puke in a good way. As he says, they met back in 2008, and Captain Destery Smith had a recurring segment on Shane's main channel, Shane, for a while. So having Destery involved with Shane 2 might have been a welcome comeback for some people, a welcome throwback, a welcome little reference to the past. However, as you can see, there were a lot of people who were not happy with this decision by Shane. Show me your company and I'll tell you who you are, Shane. Shane, I've been defending you for years and coming back and forth with you. This is literally heartbreaking. He's a proven P, and he didn't deny it. Please reconsider adding him to the podcast. I feel you'll lose last supporters you have, says someone who has defended Shane for years. Okay? So, I do think it's important to take into account allegations against a person when you choose who you're going to hire to be on your extremely small team and work with on a day-to-day basis. Both in the comments of that post and across the internet, people making videos were really not happy with the idea of Shane working with Destery Smith due to his alleged creepy crimes against children, as that one commenter referred to. Discovering this caused me to make my own video back in October of 2022, joining in on the backlash against Shane working with Destery. At this time, in October of 2022, that's right, almost a year ago, it was unclear whether the backlash was going to make Shane change his mind about hiring this literal trash bag. And personally, I had a lot going on in my life at the time, with my weight loss surgery and recovery time fast approaching, and other undisclosed matters in my personal life. So at the time, I will admit I let this topic slip to the back burner. But thankfully, my attention was recently turned back Shane and Destery's way thanks to Nick DeRamio's most recent clip breakdown video. In that video, Nick noted that Triangle Face Productions has been editing Shane 2's videos since the fall of 2022, and hearing this in Nick's video stopped me in my tracks. Because if you remember, Triangle Face Productions is, that's right, Destery Smith. In the simplest terms, I am beyond disappointed with Shane Dawson. He was presented with a very simple dilemma, and he made the worst possible choice of what to do. After coming back from his cancellation vacation, claiming to be grateful for the chance to reflect and telling us that he's grown and evolved into a better person now, while very obviously shading and shaming those who dared to raise a voice against him and tell him that they were hurt by his racist, sexist, drama-stirring, diagnosis, stigmatizing, kid-creeping, and other disgusting actions. But that's beside the point. Or is it? Anyway, while dressing himself as holier than thou, or at least holier than he used to be, at the same time he hired an actual alleged G-worder, kid creep, and child R-wordist to create videos on a channel that at least looks family friendly, linking to this perv's Instagram account in every single video since mid-October of 2022. There is no such thing as change with Shane Dawson. Sure, he's no longer jerking off to Willow Smith posters and YouTube videos, but when you view Shane 2's bright and bubbly videos, you're signing the paycheck for an alleged known, dangerous kid creep who probably is. In October of 2022, I published my own video on this matter. Specifically, I made a video about what a dangerous person, what an imminent danger Destery Smith is, according to the allegations brought against him by his fans turned victims. And I was so passionate about publishing this video back in October of 2022 and getting the word out there that I published this video on October 30th, 2022, 3 days after my weight loss surgery. To be clear, after my surgery, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink more than a teaspoon of liquids at a time. I was exhausted. I was in major pain. I even threw up and peed myself at the same time when I was in the hospital. This was not an easy time period for me. And my video about Destery Smith last year got demonetized, as I knew that it would, but I wasn't in it for the money. I was in it for the victims and getting their stories told. Because I wanted Destery Smith to be addressed. I wanted Shane to be addressed for working with this pig, and I wanted the victims to be heard. So what this video is for, the one that you're watching right now, I want this video to end up being short so that the YouTube algorithm is more likely to share it with people. That means I can't provide you with everybody's full stories right now, but I will provide you with a summary, although I've already pretty much alluded to what I need to allude to. You can go watch my previous video now. You don't need to hear the summary I'm about to give you, but if you don't want to go watch the full over an hour long video, I'm going to give you the breakdown. That's the second purpose of this video, to ask you to go watch the full video that I made in October of last year, because it includes clips of Destery Smith's alleged victims telling their stories themselves. The full details are difficult to hear, but it's important that their stories are told, and more importantly, that their stories are heard by other people. If you don't want to watch that video, I'm here to provide a summary of why I am pissed the hell off that after the backlash Shane received in October of last year, he still went forward and decided to work with one of the most dangerous people I've ever encountered on social media, Destery Smith, human trash bag, and kid creep, allegedly. Shane knows that he has a largely child and teen audience. He is aiming his videos and his thumbnails toward that demographic, so platforming this child groomer and abuser to that child and teen audience is not acceptable behavior from Shane Dawson. I hope that people hear this message and raise the alarm. If you think something should be done about this, share this video, tag a creator that you like. I have a small channel. My views are all over the place for some reason. I don't know what is going to come of my video. Do not watch Shane 2, because when you do, You are putting money in the pocket of an alleged kid creep. Destery Smith, aka Captain Des, was born on February 19th, 1991, making him 32 years old at this time. He is from Shane's generation of OG content creators on YouTube and is a longtime friend of Shane's, even making content on Shane's main channel, Shane, way back in the day. Destery was a big creator in the edgelord scene, kids scene, and faced a reckoning back in February of 2021 when a bunch of people came forward on TikTok talking about their alleged inappropriate experiences with him. He used anti-harassment and anti-bullying policies to get some of those videos taken down, yet thankfully the internet is forever, and their stories were saved. In a moment, I'm going to give you some of the more specifics of what exactly he was alleged to have done. But before I do that, I want to show you a point that I made in my video last year because I feel it is particularly pertinent to this video as far as it goes with Shane. Remember, this was before my weight loss surgery. I looked different. I was in my chubby girl era. I was spherical, but I was still cute. It's not like Shane doesn't know about what's going on with Destery. This was a big thing at the beginning of last year, and if they're buddies, certainly he would have known what was going on with his buddy. More importantly, people who saw that post, one would assume his subscribers on his Shane 2 channel, have commented saying, "This is not a good thing, dude. Do not work with this guy. He's accused of nasty shit." And most accurately, as Adam McIntyre pointed out in his videos about this subject, Shane's true first response to all of this was to filter out those comments, but as the conversation has gotten bigger and louder, and more people have been making this point to him, it seems he has removed those filters and allowed those comments to appear on this post. Not sure what that means in terms of him potentially changing his mind. I have very little hope. But it's worth noting that at first, he tried to hide this criticism he was getting from his own audience. So there should be no question in anybody's mind as to whether or not Shane was aware of the allegations against Destery Smith, the allegations that I am about to review. He knew. He knew it so much that he was trying to prevent other people from knowing. He still hired this guy. He's still paying him, he's still enabling him, he's still putting him inches away from a child audience. I'm going to summarize the allegations against Destery Smith or Captain Des. A few of what I'm about to say are categories and a few of them are specific instances. All of them are laid out fully in my prior video on this subject. They are allegations at the end of the day, but they are not the types of things that people say lightly. I believe the people who said these things. So, Destery Smith is accused of sexting minor fans. Multiple people have come out about that. Sending and requesting nude and lewd photos with minor fans. Kissing minor fans. Having a sexual relationship with one minor fan when she was around 14 years old. And in case you're not aware, that means in the US of A, R-wording a fan multiple times when she was 14 years old. Requesting intimate photos from girls as young as 12 years old. And multiple people say they, quote, know for a fact that Destery Smith keeps files of all of the nudes that he has been sent. And they say all of the nudes and files because there are a lot of different fans who have sent things to him. At least one person shared that at some point she had been talking to him in the past. A few years later, out of the blue, he gets back in touch with her by sending to her the photos that he still had of her. That made her uncomfortable, and she asked him to delete those photos because she was uncomfortable with him having them still. And he responded by saying no, because he was keeping them in a secret place where no one else would ever get to them. One person has done all that, and that's a summary. Many of these are categories. This is who Shane has chosen, not just to remain friends with, but to hire, to pay out of the pockets of the Shane 2 channel, to edit his kid-friendly, family-focused podcast. Fun, light, bright colors, cute thumbnails that don't attract adults. Up to Shane's most recent episode, he lists Triangle Face Productions in the description and links to Destery's Instagram. The Triangle Face Productions Instagram. But it's Destery. Because of the recent scandal with Colleen Ballinger, we've talked a lot about grooming in the media, on social media, on YouTube, on Twitch, on the news. The important distinction that everybody has made is that Colleen Ballinger's victims are not accusing her of sexually grooming them. They make that distinction because grooming is awful. Sexual grooming is an additional layer of awful. And that is what these people are alleging that Captain Destery Smith has been doing to them. These allegations are related to children as young as 12 years old. Allegations go back as early as 2014, which means the actions themselves were happening as far back as 2013, 2012, 2011, who knows? Actions need to happen before somebody can come forward to discuss them in 2014 and later. I have no reason to believe that he has stopped either. This man is known, he is dangerous, and Shane Dawson is enabling him, in my opinion. Although knowing Shane's history, it tracks, doesn't it? Exactly. Thank you for putting it succinctly. Shane is giving him a gateway to potential victims. Exactly. I am furious. Earlier in this stream, we were talking about things that Blair was doing that were just cruel, and that Colleen was doing that seemed just cruel. And then I look and I see this, and it also speaks to me of cruelty. There is no reason for this type of behavior. First of all, the cruelty of Destery doing these things repeatedly, the control, the manipulation, the general overall grossness of it on its face, right? But then Shane hiring him after his fans begged him, fans who defended him, gone to bat over disgusting shit that he's done. They can't even abide this. Yet he chose to quietly do the unthinkable and hire a known, dangerous child predator and rapist to edit his podcast and make it kid-friendly. I don't know if you've watched the Nick DeRamio video that I'm referring to. He specifically points out the cartoonishness, the over-the-top editing style that is in that podcast that Triangle Face Productions, aka Destery, puts into that podcast.
You might be asking, what does overproduction look like? Well, here's just a few examples from this video.
Very judgy. OG Twinkie. I need a Twinkie. Dreamies. Have you had a wet dream? It's really bad.
This editing style is what it would feel like to get gangbanged by a bunch of Adobe After Effects tutorials. And if you're thinking, well, at least all of the special effects show that Shane is putting more effort into his videos. First of all, why are you sticking up for Shane Dawson? I promise he's never going to return your affection unless you're a 12-year-old meeting him at a Borders book signing in 2011, in which case, pucker up, child bride. Secondly, I would like to direct your attention to the video's description box, which says the editing was done by Triangle Face Productions. This video is the result of a team of professionals trying to make something watchable out of the hours of raw footage he and Chris recorded of him sliding stale Twinkies into the back of his throat. Some of the products are not foods, but just toys or other things that Shane really loves.
Now, if you haven't played with slime, get ready to be fucking shook by my skills.
He gets like angry at one point and he's like, oh, slime. It's like, girl, that is a toy for children. You're an adult. I don't like it.
It's kid-friendly editing. And content with the Twinkies and the slime. Isn't that fucking weird? For a kid groomer to be making videos more kid-friendly? To be pulling in an audience of kids who are 1-2 clicks away from being connected to his Instagram? Why are people not burning YouTube down about this? Why am I finding out through a Nick DeRamio video 10 months later? Shane posted about it, and I had one sliver of hope This is not a hard decision to make.
Oh, people are alerting me to the fact that Destery is a literal kid creep?
You know, in case he didn't know that, he's becoming aware of it.
Maybe I shouldn't hire him?
It's a pretty easy choice to say no.
No, Des.
I've learned some shit about you that is dark, and I don't think you should edit my podcast. I'm not going to pay you. First of all, it's a bad look for Shane, but Shane's going to have kids. Shane is about to have 2 babies. I hope he's not seeing Destery in person often. I hope Destery stays far away from Shane and Ryland's children. I do feel it's cruel to your audience when they're saying to make a very easy choice not to hire a fucking predator to edit your shit, to go ahead and do it anyway. I feel that's cruel to your audience because there's no reason for it. It's cruel for Destery to do what he does to his victims, allegedly. It's cruel for Blair to do what she did to Oz. It's cruel for Colleen to do what she did to all of her victims. I appreciate that Blair and Colleen are being called out. They still have massive power. They're gonna ride as far as they can on that power. And I think that that's what Shane is doing here too. He's ignoring this because he can. So I'm asking YouTube to stop allowing him to ignore this. We can hold his feet to the fire once again like we did in 2020. This alone is worthy of taking Shane Dawson off the internet forever, but especially Destery Smith. There's just such a massive power imbalance as well because of the fact that these are Destery Smith's fans that he's specifically predating on. These are his fans. We've talked about parasocial relationships a million times on this channel. We've talked about the influencer-fan relationship. When you move beyond a parasocial relationship and an influencer and a fan start communicating with one another, the fan takes instruction from the influencer the way that an employee takes instruction from their boss. That is an imbalance of power. Using that to get something sexual is a misuse of power, especially when there's also a huge age gap. These are illegal actions we're talking about. This shouldn't even be a question. Shane is giving him a gateway to potential victims. Exactly. And that's a big fucking problem. To me, it should be a big fucking problem to everybody else on YouTube. I don't care if Shane thinks he's everybody's fun, empathetic grandpa. This is what I don't get. Shane calls himself an empath. He's not an empath. He's a kiss ass. The sooner everybody else stops buying this bullshit I'm an empath, the better all of YouTube will be because we can discard this man finally. He doesn't deserve our time and attention and views. Like I said, I want to make this into a shorter video so hopefully it gets picked up and people see it and somebody besides me wants to raise an alarm about it. I have a small channel. My views are all over the place for some reason. I don't know what is going to come of my video. If you think something should be done about this, share this video, tag a creator that you like. I don't know, whatever. I just want the word to get out there because these people are dangerous. At a certain point, we have to admit that this stuff does not just take place online. It comes into real life. Destery Smith met up with multiple girls. There's one that he pressured into sleeping with when she was 14. This is not a joke. This is real, and we need to take it seriously. I don't care. There's gotta be 100 other editors out there who can put some fucking filters on shit and add cartoon fire coming out of Shane's mouth when he tastes something spicy. It doesn't have to be Destery Smith. There's no reason for this. So let's stop. Let's stop it from happening. Somebody with a bigger voice than me, do something.